All right, there we are. Sorry, guys, I was having some issues launching for some reason, but here we are. How's everybody doing? I see we got some questions already. I'll get into that. 1 second. Let me get the Instagram feed up. Turn this. Where's the light switch? There we go. Keep it moody. All right, what's up, guys? I'm Johnathan White, and as always, I'm here to help you master your sexual energy so you can magnetize your ideal life. So today, I'm going to be talking about how to boost your energy, how to boost your energy levels naturally, right? So, there's so much information, right? All right. So some people are asking some questions. I'm going to answer questions after a little bit. So, how to keep yourself charged, how to keep your energy levels high. We live in a time of technological advancement, but overall health levels around the world, especially here in the US, there's so many diseases, there's so many health issues. People are very unhealthy because people start to stop taking care of themselves, basically. We think, oh, my doctor's going to, or whatever. So I want to share with you guys some tips to keep yourself energized, basically, how to boost your energy. Number one is having a daily practice, having some sort of practice to keep yourself charged up with energy, keep yourself flowing. For me, I practice Qi Gong every day, which is a Chinese system of cultivating your life force, cultivating the subtle energy in your body, opening up the meridians, and reestablishing that flow. In our advanced world, we've become very disconnected from nature. We've become disconnected from the earth. Our houses, our technology literally protects us from nature, from a natural state. And so we become very blocked off from the natural, there's certain chemical reactions that happen in our bodies when our feet are on the earth or when we walk through a forest. So when you live in a city your whole life, you get disconnected from this. You're bombarded with all this artificial light, Wi-Fi radiation, all these things. And it's a recipe for disease, basically. So having a practice to reestablish that flow of energy in your body, like Qi Gong, they call it a miracle exercise because it has so many incredible health benefits. And they used to use it to heal chronic diseases in China. They used to have entire hospitals where all they did was Qi Gong practice. Of course, it's not the only thing to do to boost your energy. Yoga, meditation, breath work are all really great ways. But the key is that you're doing something, right, to establish that flow of energy in your body. Do something every day, whether you're doing Wim Hof, whether you're doing sexual kung fu practices, Qigong, something that you have every day which keeps you clear, releasing stress from your body, releasing tension, and bringing in fresh energy, bringing in fresh chi every day. It's going to keep you happy, healthy, and in the flow. And of course, we can get into diet, get into hydration. A lot of people here in the US are chronically dehydrated because they drink like soda and all this other shit, you know what I mean? Which actually dehydrates you, pulls the water from your body. So hydration is so important. Our bodies are like 75% water. So you need to support that. Now, the water that you're drinking is very important as well. Here in the US, our tap water is full of all kinds of nasty chemicals. They put fluoride in it. There's just all kinds of nasty shit in it. So get some high quality water. One of the most important investments you can make in your health is to have a quality source of water. Berkeley water filters are great. They remove pretty much everything from the water. Reverse osmosis pulls out fluoride, pulls out everything. If you can get water from a spring, that's the best because it's like charged with that earth energy. But if you can't, that's okay. But super, like just those like pure filters you buy at the stores, those don't remove fluoride. There's a lot of stuff they don't get. So a really quality water source is going to do a lot for your energy levels. Of course, diet is important as well. Now, diet is something people get very religious about, like, oh, you have to be vegan or you're a horrible person, or oh, carnivore is the only way to go. There's different diets out there. I'm not an extremist about diet, but because different diets, everyone's genetics are different. Everyone's blood type is different. Some people can't absorb nutrients properly from plants alone. The hemoglobin in their blood just doesn't support it, right? So it's important to get to know what kind of foods are going to support you. You can do a little research on your ancestry, your blood type, and your genetics to find more about that. But basically, you can start to eat intuitively, where it's like you start to know, once you cultivate your internal energy, you become very sensitive. You start to know what foods are supporting you and what foods are throwing you off. This is how it is for me. My body's very intuitive about what I put in it. In general, I highly recommend removing refined sugar from your life. Processed sugar it's more addicting than cocaine. It causes cancer, it causes all kinds of things. Sugar is very it's not a great thing to be consuming every day. And they just feed it to kids like crazy in their cereals, soda, and candy, things like that. So it's just asking for, it's why we have so many health issues, because so many of us were raised eating garbage. Processed foods, anything removed from, basically, the closer to its natural state the food is, the closer it is to how it came from nature, the more life force it's going to have into it, the more energy it's going to have. If you're eating like processed, nasty foods like potato chips and like fried foods, there's no more nutrients left in it. It's far removed from its source, so your body takes more energy to digest it than it gets back from it. So diet is important, but semen retention is a big one as well, because a lot of men lose their energy from constant ejaculation. The body places an enormous priority on creating new semen, and it actually shuts down its self-repair processes to do this. When you're ejaculating frequently, the androgen receptors in your body shut down. These bind to hormones. And basically what it means is when you're ejaculating all the time, your body's no longer focusing on cellular repair, cellular reproduction. It's focusing on creating new sperm. And when you're just dumping it out to nowhere, it's like, what's the point? You're aging yourself quickly. So semen retention is an incredible way to boost your energy. Because in our world, there's so much stimulation, there's so much stress, you need any edge that you can get to thrive, to be energized, to boost your energy levels. Spending time in nature is very important. As I mentioned, there's so much stressful stimulation on our bodies when we're living in the city. We're just swimming in all these EMF waves from everyone's Wi-Fi signals. And this causes, it actually messes with the telomeres in your DNA. The length of the telomeres determines how long you're going to live. When you're like near a smart meter or something like that, that's just blasting these electronic radiation, it cuts your telomeres in half. So spend some time in nature, get out of the city. You can get EMF blocking devices. There's some stones that actually block. Shungite is an amazing one. Black tourmaline blocks EMF signals. Organite, which is you can do a little research on that, but that's an amazing technology that blocks these EMF signals. Really important, especially, they're trying to roll out 5G in a very sneaky way. Everyone's distracted by coronavirus, but there was a meeting in my city in the past few days, kind of low key, where they were trying to push 5G, basically putting these 5G devices 20 feet from pretty much every house in the city. It just blasts high levels of electronic radiation. That's, some really weird stuff going on, right? So anyways, protecting yourself from this is a very important investment for your health. So just to sum it up, to boost your energy levels, eat clean, drink water, spend time in nature, exercise, but do internal exercise. Do practice Qi Gong, practice meditation, breath work, something to keep your energy flowing, keep yourself in the flow, and you will feel great. Retain your semen, men. It's very, very important. Sexual energy it's like a stem cell for the body. When you're constantly cultivating your sexual energy, circulating it throughout your body, you can bring it to all the glands, bring it to all the organs. I teach you how to do this in my 6-week course, Multi-Orgasmic Man. This is the fountain of youth. This keeps you young, healthy, and energized. I have more energy now than I did when I was 18. I'm 31 now. I just have unlimited levels of energy for my daily practice. So those are some ways to keep yourself energized. All right, I'm going to answer some questions now. So feel free to send your questions at me. Thanks everyone for tuning in on Instagram and YouTube. Hope you guys are having a good day out there. Okay, so after I relapsed on my longest streak so far, 38 days, I fell back into a vicious cycle of relapsing every few days. I'm currently on day 3 again. How can I get out of this? So basically you went a long time, you retained your semen, then you started masturbating and ejaculating frequently again. So, this is the challenge. How do you make this a sustainable path for you? And I talk about this. I have many YouTube videos. I released one recently called How to Quit Porn. And I suggest you watch that. But basically it's like, substituting masturbation with exercise and things like that can be helpful, finding something else to do instead. But ultimately, if you want to really change, because you have to change this pattern, you have to completely change this dynamic that you're in engaging with your sexual energy. So the work that did it for me was changing how I experience sex, how I experience orgasm, how I experience my sexual energy. Because for me, suppressing my sexual energy, suppressing my sexuality, it didn't work. It just wasn't an option. I had to learn how to redirect it instead. You don't have to give up self-pleasure. You don't have to give up masturbation or sex or anything, but you need to change your relationships. You're no longer addicted to the ejaculation. That's what, is getting men, is this addiction to ejaculation. So how do you do that? I mean, that's what my work, I go into depth in this in my course, but basically, if you can start to redirect that sexual energy through your body, go through that sort of rewiring process of connecting with a different type of sexual pleasure, no longer focused on, being overstimulated by porn and rushing into this ejaculatory orgasm, learning to enjoy the sensations of pleasure, but bring them upward in the body. This requires opening up the energy meridian matrix of your body. You have to open this space for that arousal to go upward. Otherwise, it gets stuck down here and it feels very uncomfortable. So you have to release it from your body, but once you get these channels open, flowing upward in the body, you can contain that arousal and transform it in a different way without releasing it from your body. So, I hope that's helpful for you. What are my thoughts on Jing energy and Chinese traditional medicine? Jing is so in Chinese medicine, they talk about the three treasures. Well, first of all, okay, so Chinese traditional medicine is different from classical Chinese medicine. In the 50s, when the Communist Party was kind of looking into this stuff, all this classical Chinese medicine stuff, because they saw there was a lot of value to it, thousands of years of research in this incredible system that the Chinese, the Taoists had developed. But the Communist Party didn't want to bring in all this sort of religious dogma that some of the Taoist stuff had with it. So they basically removed all spiritual context from it. They changed a lot of things and created the system that we now know as traditional Chinese medicine, which really isn't that traditional at all. It's only, 70 years old now, right? So anyways, so just an important thing to know when you're looking back on the difference between classical Chinese medicine, which is very influenced by Taoist alchemical practices, and the difference between that and traditional Chinese medicine. So anyways, but Jing is it's the essence of our being. So the Chinese talk about these three treasures, Jing, Qi, and Shen. They're all different frequencies of energy, basically. Prana, life force. They're different forms of the same thing. So Jing is like the lower form. We can compare this to water. Jing would be the ice when water's in this form of ice. So it's a little more dense. The vibration's a little lower. Lowest vibration energy can be in before it manifests into the physical realm. What's creating our bodies? We have a certain supply of Jing when we're born, and we have the choice of how to use it, but we only have so much. But you can do alchemical practices and take herbs and things like that to increase your Jing. Qi it's kind of like this vapor. So it's this fluid form of energy, very much in line with our emotions. It's this flowing energy that we can cultivate. Shen is in line with the spiritual realms. It's this ethereal spiritual energy. So Jing, Qi, and Shen are these different forms of energy, and they're always transforming into each other. But Jing is important because for men, when we ejaculate, every time we ejaculate, we lose some Jing. Again, you dry up all your Jing, you die. So Jing deficiency is very common, very linked to the kidneys as well, the water element. So taking care of your Jing by avoiding stress, not overworking, getting enough sleep, nourishing yourself with herbs, practicing Qi Gong is a very great investment in your health, basically. What drugs can you take to boost your energy naturally? I hear Coke is good. Cocaine's going to drain your Jing, so it's like you're spending energy that you would have later. With any of these psychoactive substances, they burn up some of that Jing, that physical essence, to give you this high, but it's not a sustainable thing to do, basically, and it takes a toll on your sexual energy overall. Is testicle breathing a practice that can help you develop your ability to have full body orgasm? Definitely, because testicle breathing is a basic way of working with the unaroused sexual energy, drawing it throughout the body. So it starts to clear this pathway of a new expression of sexual energy and orgasm flowing upward in the body, basically. But there's more, not everyone's able to learn it just from the testicle breathing. That's why there's, power locks, different exercises I teach in my 6-week course to really get into that. What's the number one book you recommend for someone who's studying this journey, and a book you recommend for someone who's more advanced? So a good book to start out with is by Montauk Chia. It's called Taoist Secrets of Love, Cultivating Male Sexual Energy. It's an excellent book. The practices in it are a bit outdated, but overall the book, the theory and everything's pretty solid. As far as more advanced books, I really haven't seen a book that I was really satisfied with that went into really advanced things. But Bruce Francis has a book called Taoist Sexual Meditation. It's quite advanced. It's pretty comprehensive. It's an interesting read. Some good practices in there. When I practice Qi Gong, it doesn't seem to do anything. Any thoughts? So there's many levels to this. Depends what form of Qi Gong you're practicing. Overall, though, it takes a bit of time. Qigong isn't like something you do once and you're like, oh, I got it. That's why, Gong is a skill, it's a discipline. It takes time to develop that discipline. That's why it's sexual Kung Fu. Kung Fu is that. It's the development of a skill over a period of time. It takes time, it takes daily practice. So I didn't feel anything the first time I did Qigong, but I did notice I felt a lot more calm, a lot more present. It's like, whoa, I feel kind of nice and grounded. And later, I really committed myself to practicing Qigong, and that's when I started to really get into it. It takes a bit of time to open up the channels and to tangibly experience the energy, but if you're really tense, that's a big blockage. Or I recommend you follow my most recent Qigong video. It's on my Qigong playlist. It's called Energizing Morning Routine. Work with that regularly, and I guarantee you'll start feeling some energy circulating in your body. When doing exercises to work with sexual energy, would a loss of erection be a sign that you successfully moved it from your genitals? Yeah, that can be a sign of success. Like when you're really, really aroused, you have a hard erection, then you do a practice, you drop that energy, because less the sexual energy is in the genitals, your erection naturally starts to subside a bit. So it can be a sign you're doing it correctly. Is living up to 200 possible? I believe it is. There's these legends of all these yogis and Taoist masters who lived hundreds of years. I believe it's possible. We live such a high stress life that, we are, again, cutting the telomeres in our DNA short and things like that. So I believe it's possible. What's my opinion on caffeine? So this, I was talking about stimulants earlier. You have to be careful with stimulants. Some people can have a moderate amount of caffeine and do fine, but some people, myself included, I'm very sensitive to it. It burns me out. It takes that kidney energy, or Jing, that adrenal energy. It's basically pulling from your energy reserves. When you drink caffeine, you're pulling this energy that you would have later and using it up now. So if you're relying on caffeine, which a lot of people are, you burn out your adrenals, which is very bad for your health. You burn up your Jing, your sexual health declines, so I really recommend not relying on caffeine to have energy. If you need a cup of coffee to get up and going in the morning, then you're probably adrenal depleted. So, you can take some kidney building herbs, do some Qigong, do breathwork, meditation, and start to overcome that. Yeah, I think that semen retention, sexual energy cultivation is one of the ways to really attain true longevity. Maybe living hundreds of years, who knows? But yeah, I think that could be the secret. Who knows? Maybe we'll find out later. Where was I at in my process at 22 years old? Man, 22 years old, I was not into semen retention yet. I was into yoga, I was into meditation, but hadn't begun my journey of sexual Kung Fu yet. But the seed was planted. I seem to have a hard time with the visualization aspect of the microcosmic orbit meditation. So visualization is not a very effective method of working with the microcosmic orbit. It's not just seeing it, or else you're only going to get this mental, it's going to be completely from your head. You need to connect with your entire body. What you're doing, for example, if you're following the practice on my YouTube channel where you go from point to point, you're literally bringing your awareness to that point. Your yi, your yi is your intent, it's your inner vision. So you feel the point with your body. It's body awareness. It's this more kinesthetic sense. That's how you really move energy. If you're just visualizing, your results are going to be very limited because you're just doing it from your head. When you get a more kinesthetic sense, feeling your body, moving the energy that way, in my experience, you have much more tangible results. Okay, thoughts on black coffee as an appetite suppressant for intermittent fasting to prolong the fast longer? Again, this gets into the issue of, is it beneficial to you? I do intermittent fasting myself, and it took me about a month to adjust to it. But after a month, like I can go really long periods of time without eating, and I don't feel hungry. So I don't need caffeine to do this. But some people have a bit of coffee. Maybe put some fat in it, put some butter or coconut oil in it to kind of, the bulletproof coffee thing. But you try it yourself. You listen to your body. But if you notice that you become reliant on that caffeine, you become reliant on that cup of coffee to get going in the morning, then it's a chance that you're starting to burn out your adrenals. So just being aware. I encourage you to experiment with different things and to find what works for you. My secret to keep my hair and skin on the way. Well, I just eat healthy. Again, it's just lifestyle. I practice pretty intensely, working with Qi Gong, working with internal energy. I'm eating healthy. I'm eating clean. I eat organic, non-GMO foods. That's it. I retain my semen or my sexual energy. I live a happy, fulfilling lifestyle. So I guess that's why I have healthy skin. Okay, herbs to replenish Jing. There's a really great formulation by a company called Dragon Herbs. The formulation is called Shou formulation, Shouwu. Shou formulation by Dragon Herbs. It's a traditional Chinese formula to replenish Jing. It's a recommended one. But some common herbs are Shouwu, Ramania, rhodiola. What else? Those are some great ones. Taking them together really maximizes, I've done some videos on herbs for boosting sexual energy. So that's on my YouTube channel. Yeah, I've moved. I'm in the process of moving, not in my new house yet. I'm at a friend's house right now, but moving into a pretty sweet new house in the next couple of weeks up in the foothills, out in nature. I'm pretty excited. Is it unhealthy to retain forever? So, it's a common question. It depends. It depends on like if it's a forced thing, like if you're really suppressing your sexual energy, like, no, I'm never ejaculating again. And if you're not doing any practice to circulate the sexual energy throughout your body, if you're not doing testicle breathing, if you're not working with the microcosmic orbit, then you're not getting the biggest benefits of semen retention because it's just getting stuck in your balls. So if you're truly transmitting the sexual energy, circulating it throughout your body, then you can retain as long as you want, as long as you're not having any symptoms of stagnancy. If you're not feeling angry, you're not feeling irritable, stuck in your life, you're not feeling like constriction and pain in the genitals, then it's fine. Things to do alongside semen retention to increase our vibration to extraordinary and intense levels. Practice meditation. Obviously, there's different types of meditation. I practice, I've studied many systems of meditation, but I really am drawn to the Taoist practices because they really cultivate powerful energy in the body, building the Dantian, opening the 8 extraordinary meridians, the different energetic matrix system of the body, internal alchemy practices. So meditation and Qi Gong practice for me have been, a game changer for sure. My hair clay recipe. Yeah, so I make my own hair styling stuff, and it's just bentonite, it's beeswax, coconut oil, and bentonite clay. That's all it is. Just a very small amount of bentonite clay. I don't remember the exact measurements of it. You can look up a recipe, but I guess just beeswax, coconut oil, and bentonite clay, a little essential oil, to make it smell nice. That's it. I started making it because I couldn't find a hair product that didn't have a bunch of bullshit in it. So yeah. Irritability when retaining is not normal. Well, unfortunately, it is normal because a lot of guys do this improperly, but it's basically a symptom that your liver chi's stagnant, your overall energy stagnant. I made a video on this dealing with anger, practicing semen retention, but yeah, it's generally a sign that your energy is stagnant. You're not really transmuting the sexual energy. It's just building up and, you're feeling irritable. Okay, guys, just gonna answer a few more questions. Is there any text about Taoists speaking of the void? Yeah, I've heard, I can't remember which text, but I was reading something recently. They talk about the void, but, what are they really talking about? There's all these words that a lot of different people use. So what are they really talking about? I don't have too much to say about that. Do you think it is possible to keep your sex drive going up and up the older you get? Well, I think it's definitely possible to keep a powerful sex drive into old age. Again, this is managing your energy, managing your health, eating properly, not overexpending yourself, not stressing yourself out too much. You can take certain herbs and supplements and do practices like iron crotch Qi Gong, where you're hanging weights from your package, your genitals, which really stimulates a lot of hormones, working especially with the bones, the bone marrow. Most people don't exercise their bones, but the bones produce bone marrow, which and also produce hormones. They produce your blood. So keeping your bone marrow production optimal is extremely important as you age. Okay, my thoughts on tight underwear. Not a good thing for men wearing tight underwear. Personally, I typically don't wear underwear. I go commando because the testicles need space. Like they naturally hang down from the body because they need to be away from the body's heat. If you're always compressing them up there, it can reduce circulation, and also the testicles get too hot, so the sperm dies. So I don't recommend wearing really constrictive clothing and underwear. Yeah, cold showers are great. Does semen retention increase mental clarity? Yes, definitely, because when you constantly ejaculate, you lose a lot of zinc. Also, the body secretes prolactin, releases prolactin into the blood after an ejaculation, which decreases testosterone. When you have low testosterone levels, you typically feel very sluggish. You lack mental clarity. Lack of zinc, especially, leads to fogginess, brain fog, things like that. So that was one of the big things I noticed when I began practicing semen retention, was how clear my thoughts were, how much mental clarity I had. Okay, the difference between yoga and qigong. Well, when you really look at what the words mean, so yoga means to yoke, to bind together, right? It's often like the connection of body and mind, or connection of your soul and the universe, things like that. So it's really like a development of yourself, right? Development of your higher abilities. Gong is a skill, it's a discipline, like kung fu, gong fu. It's an attainment of it's a time spent training, basically, to develop a skill. And Qi Gong is the skill of cultivating Qi. Qi is the life force. It's prana. It's energy. It's the force. So Qigong and yoga basically have the same goals, but yoga, of course, comes from India. Qigong came from China, and they're very different systems, and they've both become quite, we'll say, stripped down in the West and lost a lot of their actual potency. Like yoga's kind of been turned into it's a physical exercise. There's a yoga studio on every block, but you're not going to get much of a deep yoga practice from most of the studios in the US. But as far as like keeping your body flexible, keeping yourself happy, healthy, and mental clarity and things like that, it's great. Same with Qigong. It's been kind of stripped down. A lot of the true Qigong practices, the true internal mechanics of cultivating energy, begin forgotten. You see guys kind of doing these swinging stuff, swinging their arms around, waving their arms around, saying, yeah, this is Qi Gong. But there's certain internal alignments that you have to achieve in order to truly get the energy moving in the body. Like you can feel it. It becomes very tangible. When you're doing Qigong the right way, you'll know because you start to feel it. You're like, when I do my practice, my arms literally feel radioactive. There's a surge of energy flowing through them. My whole body starts to light up. So, it can be difficult to find a good teacher, but it's out there. So the difference between yoga and Qigong, they're different systems that come from different traditions, but originally they had, similar goals. Okay, so I'm just gonna answer a couple more questions, and I gotta jump off of here. Can any practices or herbal medicine increase size? There are some practices you can do to increase the size and the hardness of your penis. You have to be careful with them, though, because you can do them wrong and damage yourself, which unfortunately a lot of people do. Uh, Stretching the penis, basically. Jelqing is a great practice for increasing hardness. Is my girlfriend on the pill? No, we don't use artificial birth control. Birth control completely messes with women's hormonal systems. It causes all kinds of issues. Mostly we're using semen retention, and also in coordination with her ovulation cycle. If you get to know a woman's ovulation cycle, she can only get pregnant when she's ovulating. So, you can start to learn her cycle. So she needs to be in tune with her body. So when my partner's near her ovulation period, or her ovulation cycle, I'll use a condom because, we want to be extra careful. I don't want to have kids right now. But other than that, we're raw dogging it. Semen retention has been my birth control for many, many years with great success. But obviously you need to have the skill to be able to do that. Why do you feel pain during spiritual ascension? Well, we're we live in a very interesting world. There's a lot of, we could say blocked up karma from some nasty things that have been happening for, tens of thousands of years now. And we're in this huge process of awakening on the planet. Like, there's a lot going on many different levels, but as you wake up, it's like, if you've seen the movie The Matrix, where Neo wakes up from the Matrix, he wakes up in this pool, and there's like all these humans around him in these machines. So, it's kind of the process you go through when you wake up to the truth of what's happening on this planet, what's been happening for thousands of years. And, it can be a painful process. You're releasing all this karma that we've inherited from our ancestors, from generations. So, there's a lot to this for sure, but having an internal practice helps you to move peacefully and stay grounded. All right, guys, I've got to jump off, and thanks everyone for joining next week, same time. So keep it real, guys.